Come join me, Siyabonga in Backroom Convo with Isicho M today at 12 p.m. See you there.
Yeah,
Hello.
hey, sawubona, my friend.
Hi, Chom. Munjani?
I'm good. Or do you prefer hot on that?
No. Sawubona sounds great. No mungati
Uh,
hey.
mm, okay, how are you, man? How are you?
I'm good, my friend. Doina?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. We've been like wanting to do this for the longest of time, but because of time,
Yes. Yeah,
but
like we've been
time,
postponing, and I always have a mixture of a busy schedule and load shedding. Sometimes I'm available, but there's load shedding. Sometimes there's no load shedding, but I'm always on the road. So, yeah, I'm glad I
yeah.
just finally got a chance, to sit down and chat.
Nah, busy, joke, busy. Spend your money. Give us money, guys. Give us money.
Otto, guys, Malians, UIP. Yeah,
Oh,
kind
he's
of, yeah.
that's how people with money talk. Dog. That's money talk.
Not really. Yes, I don't have money. You'd be sure I don't have that much money. I try.
Nah, nah. Oh, okay. Let me introduce let me introduce you. So
Sure.
today I have a friend of mine, Siyabonga Zangalala, who is currently, guys, currently we can't take this lightly. He's studying for his honors degree again. He's also a part of the UJ choir. He's part of the ANC Youth League. Come on now. Come on. Welcome. Welcome, my friend.
Thank you
Welcome.
so much. Thank you, friend. What a nice introduction. Hey, I feel honored to be here.
No, it's good, man. You're doing bigger things, man. Have,
Thank you.
have, you,
Thank you
al-
so
have
much.
you always thought or like you'd be at this point in your life as far as singing? Because I know you from back in the day when you used to like,
Mm,
well, you're still involved in a way in the choir, Silo Stars. I used
mm,
to know you from that with
mm,
people like Bondivu. Like, did you ever see
mm,
yourself being a part of like the UJ institution or singing?
mm, mm.
Hey, did you see it for
So,
yourself?
yeah, yeah.
Well, let's start with how it started for you. How it started. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, let's give people aside, people who want to know Sia Zangalala. Just tell us who Sia Zangalala, when the journey started, and how we got where we are as far as
Oh,
singing.
all right. So, I should introduce myself in a musical sense or just generally?
I think just to have like direction, let's just give them.
A
Um,
music
wait,
background.
let me just do this. Whatever you comfortable with, then we'll just
Okay.
take the direction from that. Yeah.
o- Okay. Because what was in my mind now was my history with singing. So, I think let me just go for that and then
Yes. Yes.
introduce our
Perfect.
topics.
Perfect.
Yeah. So, growing up, when I was very, very young, well, as far as I can remember, I do not remember the age. I used to have this very husky sounding voice, but as a kid, yeah, well, so my it used to freak my mom out. And then one day when we went for a doctor's appointment, well, we went for other things. Then she asked about the whole voice thing, and then the doctor was like, "No, it means he's gonna be a good singer one day," you know. And it was
Yeah.
a thing. So my mom kept on saying that, and that was before I even knew I could sing. And then when I was in primary school, that is when I discovered that I actually can sing. When I was in
Yeah.
primary school in Randfontein.
Yeah.
So I sang in the choir there, and I was one of the best people in the choir. Really.
Yeah.
So that's when I discovered, okay, I actually do have a talent. Then in high school, I continued singing in high school in the school choir. My school choir was great. It was good. It wasn't one of the best, but it was good. And I
Yeah.
competed in the South African Schools Choral at Stateford. It's also known as SASKE. So it's a national school choral choir thing. Yeah, a competition. And I competed there as a solo. Okay, I competed with the choir, of course, but I also competed as a soloist, and I made it fourth provincially in
Hmm.
2017.
Ah, that's
Yeah,
nice.
and then I also, yeah, and then my other musical experience back in high school is where we met. A church, my choir, a choir at church called Silo Stars. That's why I also sang for many many years. And I grew musically there too because I got exposed to, when I had just sung choral music for a long time, and then when I got to
Yeah.
solo songs, I could also explore gospel music, which was very fun because it's a genre I enjoy listening to a lot. So
Yeah.
having the experience to sing gospel music was really fun. And
Yeah.
yeah, so UJ has always been a university I wanted to go to for some reason. It was my dream university from like high school. I've always wanted to be a UJ student. I don't know why, but I was very drawn to the idea of going to UJ. And most people dream of going to VETS or UCT, you know, but
Yeah.
UJ was the thing for me, And I took a gap year after matric. So during that gap year, I applied to come to UJ and I got accepted. So as I got accepted, I started exploring whatever the UJ university actually has, and then I discovered the UJ choir. Started listening to their music on YouTube, and I was blown away. You know, only to
Yeah.
find that they actually are one of the best university choirs in the world.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yes, so they've won a lot of so they competed. They used to compete in world choir in the world choir games. Let me put it like that. Yeah, it's like a world choir
Yeah.
competition where competitions from all over the world, choirs from all over the world gather and compete.
Oh,
And
okay.
UJ, the UJ choir won a number of gold and silver medals in a number of categories, but they've also won a lot, many, many more awards, all over the world, over the years. So they are one of the best choirs in the world. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're very good. So I then during my first year I joined the choir, and yeah, the rest is history. I'm still in the choir till today.
Hmm. Oh, that's
Yeah.
good, bro. Like,
Yeah, and I've gained a
so
lot of musical experience from there.
experience, man. Okay, so like for someone who's listening now and he wants to be a part of the choir, like what's how does the procedure look like? What do they have to do? Do they have to apply? Like,
Okay, sure. So first of all, the requirement should be that you should be a UJ student or UJ alumni to join the UJ
yeah,
choir. So you can't join if you're not at UJ. And then if you are at UJ, you should be on the lookout for auditions, which usually take place twice a year. At first, they take place at the end of the year around October, November, and then the second auditions take place around February there. Yeah. So usually they'll just post on so the page on Instagram is the University of Johannesburg Choir or at UJ Choir. So they usually post about auditions there. Then you probably have to send a WhatsApp VN, which is the first phase of the audition. The second phase of the audition, you actually have to go there in person, then sing a song and do a few vocal exercises, and then from there, if you make it through to the choir, you'll have the very last audition that take place around March. Well, with the last audition, we all audition, even if you're old. We call them the development audition. So you go through some weeks of like workshopping and learning the choir's repertoire, and then in March you audition to become an official member of the choir. So yeah, it's a bit of a process, but yeah, that's how it goes. So
mm.
just if you're new, just make sure that okay, you're either a UJ student or a UJ alumni. Then watch out for the auditions on Instagram. Yeah, and then yeah.
Oh, okay. No, I understand, bro. Like,
Mhm.
bro, when are you a hard worker, bro? You are one of the
Sure.
people. Yeah, I think you are a hard worker, dog. You're doing your honors now, and
Yeah.
you're part of the UJ choir. You are also involved in ANC, bro. Like,
Politics.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like, there's a lot. How do you balance all that, bro? Like, how do you do that? Like, I admire that. Like, from someone who's looking at it from an outside
Yo.
perspective, it's like, yo, Sia is doing a lot, but and I can also see Uguti, there's also balance because you can manage all these things very well, bro.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. What I I think it's just a thing of managing your time. So I know when my classes are. I know when my assignments are due. I know when my rehearsals are. I know when our performances or camps or tours are. And then I also know when my ANC stuff are like, or my meetings, my conferences, and. So
Oh, okay.
you manage because you know when everything is happening. So you plan your day and say, okay, today at this time I'm gonna be at this place. At this time I'm gonna be at this place. At this time I'm gonna be at that place. Yeah, well, sometimes your things will clash. Yeah, they do clash sometimes, to be honest,
Yeah,
especially during the weekends. Because during the weekends I have choir performances most of the time, but also I also have political stuff engagements to attend. But when they
yeah.
clash, I think you just prioritize. You just say, okay, let me attend this now and that later. But it's a very manageable thing to do. And I also have a very busy social life as well.
Yes, we'll get to that
So
even.
like,
We'll get to that.
yeah, so I also need time for friends and like going out and all that.
Yeah,
But I just think, yeah, manage your time. I mean, we all have 24 hours in a day, right?
yeah, true,
Which is a lot.
true.
Having 24 hours is
Yeah,
a lot.
it's
Yeah,
a lot. It's a lot.
it's a lot. Because imagine I just spent like 2 hours at rehearsal. I probably spent like 3 hours at a meeting, an hour in class. So that's less than what, 10 hours out of
Same,
24.
yeah,
So that's,
yeah,
yeah. So
yeah.
just manage your
Depend.
time well. Yeah. But I
Yeah,
think
so
it
I,
also goes with your personality. If you are a person who enjoys being busy with stuff, then yeah. If you're a
yeah,
person who's just a sit home person, you don't like going out, you're not a very social person, you don't like
yeah,
moving around, then yeah, well, it's not advisable to,
yeah.
yeah, be active
So
during weekends.
yeah, but you know, like I've realized with you when you're a very social person, bro. Like
Yeah,
you're
sure.
very social. So, I mean, I'm not really that social.
Yeah.
So that's why, like, in some instances, I prefer to be with whenever I'm in a space where there is like people who, cause I mean, like I don't know what to talk, like what to say, when to say, understand? But you like that's a no brainer for you, understand? So
Yeah.
it's a no-brainer. I'm like, well, it's cool to have someone like you because you can always go to places where you'll be the one who's talking, and I'll just be there. And I look cool because I'm with you. I look cool because I'm with you, and you do
Yeah.
all the talking. You understand? And I'm like, yo, it's good to have someone like you because whenever there's such events where like there has to be like talking and like I'm not that person, you understand? But when
Yeah.
you do
Yeah.
it very well, bro. And I'm like, you are very good at that, bro. So let's talk about ANC. What do you
Yeah.
do at ANC? Yeah, let's talk. Let's start with when it started and
Hmm.
team format just coming.
Okay. So I have always been a person who's interested in history and politics. As a
Yeah,
kid, yeah, I'd always want to know. As a really young kid, I'd always want to know who the minister of what is, who the president is, what they do, the different political parties, and the purposes that they serve. I'd always be so excited when I'd go to see my mother and grandmother going to vote. And in my mind, I'd always be like, oh, when am I turning 18? Because I also want to vote. So after
yeah,
high
yeah,
school, I took a gap year in 2018. And that is when I got the opportunity. Okay, but I actually went to my first ANC meeting in 2017 when I was doing my trick. So there was a friend of mine that I met, a girl that I met who was an active member of the ANC and ANC Youth League. So as someone who's always been interested, I decided, well, let me attend a meeting with you. And during
yeah.
that meeting, it was towards the 2017 conference where Cyril Ramaphosa was elected president. So the branches were busy with those processes, and I found it so exciting to see that, oh, actually a big thing is a national conference is something that is discussed in a small branch somewhere in Tembisa and branches all
Yes.
over the country. So I enjoyed seeing such political processes unfold, and then I decided, you know what, let me join the party. I joined the ANC and the Youth League in 2017,
What?
but I only
2017.
yes, but I only got to be active fully in 2018.
Mm,
And as I was active in my branch, I got to be a member of what we call a task team. So a task team is almost like an executive committee, but it's not an official executive committee because I think it's in absence of an executive committee, a task team serves as the executive until an official executive committee is elected through political processes, democratic processes rather. So I got to serve as a member of the task team in the youth league in my branch. Then yeah, obviously I attended a lot of political stuff. Then when I came
yeah,
to UJ, I already knew some comrades. So the networking in politics is a big thing. You
yeah.
get to know people. If you're in a national conference, you'll get to know comrades from all over the country. If you're in a provincial conference, you know people from all over the province, so on and so forth. So when I got to UJ, I already knew a number of comrades who were serving in the youth league at home, but now at UJ they serve in an organization called SASCO. So in varsities, we have an organization called SASCO. It's the South African Congress Organization, and it is it's an ally of the ANC, but it's for students. It's a student organization, a student political organization. So when you get to varsity, that's what you'd usually join if you're a child
Can you hear
student.
me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I think your line is bad. I don't know if
It,
it's because of the 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 network,
I don't know,
or
but
if,
is it
like,
bad
even
now?
load shedding. I realized with it, like, load shedding also contributes
It
to the
does.
network
It
or
does.
so, but he doesn't realize that we can hear him. See, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can. Can you hear me
Because we can hear him.
at all?
So yeah, I think for people who just joined, so Sia was still explaining how he joined the ANC and when he joined it and what his current role is at the ANC
Hello.
national. Is it the youth league? Ne? Youth league. He was still explaining how the Sasco thing involvement. He was still explaining that. So I think because of bad reception. No, I can't hear you. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
So okay, okay. So Sia will rejoin us. We'll connect him to.
Okay, I'm back. Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Can you? Yes. So we can.
Great,
So
great.
yeah, you were still explaining. We
So
didn't
I
get
just pick up from where I left off. Okay,
the Sasco.
so
I heard from the Sasco involvement thing.
oh yeah, so I was explaining that ISASCO is a student organization, a student political organization that is aligned. It is not a league of the ANC, but it's an ally. So when you
Yeah,
are a member of the ANC or the youth league, you when you get to varsity, it's usually advised that you join SASCO. So I joined SASCO and got to know more comrades, got to grow my political network,
yeah,
Then that is where I served as a member of the branch executive committee of SASCO,
yeah,
I think for about 2 years. Yes.
yeah,
Which was also a great experience for me because as I serve in these leadership roles, I get to know more and more um, about leadership as a whole, but I also
yeah,
get to grow my political knowledge and experience. Yeah, well. And then
yeah,
after that, I got introduced to in 2020, in January 2020, we went to Kimberley to. So with politics, you travel a lot as well. So we went to
yeah,
Kimberley to launch what we call the ANC Women's League LGBTI desk. So it's an LGBTI activist organization that is under the ANC Women's League.
yes,
So as a member of the LGBTI society myself, I was able to go and be part of the founding or the launching of this organization. And then I served or I currently serve now as a regional trust team member. So remember, I told you that a trust team is an executive it's an executive body. So I form as a
Yeah,
part of the regional trust team of Ekuruleni, which is where I come from, like Tembisa, Davidson, Katlehong side. I serve as the regional
yeah,
trust team member for the ANC Women's League LGBTI desk there. So, yeah, so I think practically I moved from as I was more active in the youth league, I was more about youth politics, and then I joined SASCO. I focused more on student politics, and now I'm more focused on LGBTI related politics. And it's not as if I'm not still busy with student politics and youth politics and whatever. But I think,
yeah.
as you need different structures, your main political focus changes. You know?
Yes.
Yes. So currently, I'm more active with um LGBTI politics. Yeah, just the
Oh,
emancipation of queer people in spaces, because I believe that queer people are not given enough space to express themselves, especially in the political sphere of things.
yeah,
um, we don't have much of a voice because of discrimination and things like that. So that is why then activists exist. We are trying to make sure that queer people are heard, queer people are given the same space and platform that straight people, or let me say heterosexual cisgender people, are given. So yes,
yeah.
that's what I currently do in my political space.
No, okay, no, I understand. I understand. So
Yeah.
before we get into to the next thing, the next, I wanted to ask you, like, do you know anything, like, as far as, like, I wanted to ask. Okay, let me ask this.
Mm.
BRICS, BRICS. Do you think BRICS is a good move
Yeah,
from
sure, I
someone
do.
within, and why do you think that?
I do. Because I think as South Africa, it's good that we how can I put it? We are having economical ties with world superpowers at a close range. So as you know, Russia and China are indeed world superpowers. Most people never think about that. Everyone just thinks about America all the time.
Yeah,
So what BRICS is currently doing with its work is that they are moving away from using the dollar as an exchange rate for their international trade,
yeah,
which lessens the amount of power that the US has. So it's really a threat to the US economy, if I can put it like that. So for
yeah.
us to be a part of a movement that is liberating and revolutionary like that as South Africa, it really puts us on the map as an African country. Because not a lot of African countries are involved in international relations of that grand structure,
Okay.
So I really do think I almost was facetious about it, but let me not get into that.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think South Africa did a great move by joining BRICS all those years ago. And
yeah.
yeah, as BRICS continues to make big moves, it's great that we are going to continue being a part of it. I also think it's good for our economy, really.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah,
So
sure.
another thing, I wanted to ask was, there was a documentary that was released on
Hmm.
Twitter by
Hmm.
by the name of, by the guy called, Matt Walsh. Did you have a chance to look at it?
Unfortunately, no. What does it talk about?
So he was basically touching on, he was on a quest on to, like, he was in a quest to find out what a woman is, right?
Yeah, sure.
So in that question, he also, like, dived into the LGBTQ plus
Hmm.
community and the pronouns and all of that,
Transgender
and
people. Mm.
yeah, and, like, people identifying themselves as kids and all of that. He was, like, basically, he wanted to understand all of that.
Yeah.
So his conclusion pissed off a lot of people,
Yeah.
a lot of a lot of trans people, a lot of, like, the LGBTQ plus community. It
Mm.
pissed off a lot of those activists, and, like, I wanted to get your opinion
Okay.
on that. But now
Yeah.
you didn't. watch on it. Like
But
the
hearing from your
you know
summary, I think if he's going to then start saying that people can identify as cats and dogs, he is then ridiculing the whole gender identification thing. You see, he's making a joke out of it. Yeah, well,
no,
because now
no,
it sounds absurd.
he wasn't. So what he did,
Okay. Yeah.
there was a person who identified as a cat. You understand?
Okay.
So they interviewed the person who identified as a cat. You understand? So because he
Yeah.
also wanted to understand why. You understand the why. You understand?
Okay. So
So
how did he conclude? Like, what is it that really pissed queer people off about his
so
conclusions?
so his conclusion was this thing is a westernized thing, and
Mm,
people to identify as cats is ridiculous. You understand? So he
mm,
was like, this thing doesn't exist in other parts of Africa. It only is like big on the western side. Yeah, but so he was like, we also like he was also talking on he was talking on the Dwayne Wade's son. Is it a son or daughter? I'm not sure.
mm,
He's like, we can't like take, because there was a situation. Okay, let me just explain this. There was a situation where a child, a boy child, wanted to convert and become a woman, right?
mm,
So the situation was the mother was okay with it, but the father was not okay with it.
mm,
And yeah, but then this is her decision to make, right? So the
mm,
issue was now the institutions were not favoring the father, but they were leaning more towards the support of the child getting the surgery and taking those hormones, right?
mm,
So now the problem is, he says, child, we go through different phases. Children go through it through different phases in their lives, understand? And if
mm,
they make such a life-changing decision at that age, and they want to change when they are like 25 or 30 years, it becomes a problem because they can't reverse the process, even though they say
mm,
it's reversible. And now they
mm.
looked at facts and they could see that that is not reversible. So
Yeah.
now it's like, why do you guys allow this to happen? Understand? Let's
Mm,
wait for this kid to at least be 18 years old to
mm,
decide for themselves to like, I want to be trans, I want to identify as that. Like, let's wait until to 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 take such a decision for a kid at that age. It's so wrong. That's what he was saying.
mm. Okay.
So
I,
yeah,
I don't entirely disagree with that, actually. Okay,
yeah,
let me, being trans or being gay or being straight or being whatever identification
yeah,
that one usually has is something that most people, not all people, discover
yeah,
at a very young age. By the time you're 15, 16, usually you've sort of figured out the direction that you're going, especially when it
yeah,
comes to gender. Unlike sexual orientation, gender is it's more solid, it's more something that you see quite early. Some people
yeah,
see it way before puberty, even.
yeah,
But I still think that someone who's below the age of 18 cannot give consent to big life decisions like that. I agree with that.
yes,
You know,
yes,
yes, the person knows they're trans from the age of 5, probably.
yeah, yeah,
But I agree in saying that the person should wait till they're 18 and they are mature enough and they're at the age of consent to say that, okay, this is what I'm doing with my gender.
yeah,
So yeah, a kid really at the age of 14, 15. Yeah, I don't think maybe the person will change and become a boy over time or identify as a man. But I think that yeah, being a child as a child, you're not supposed to be able to take drastic
yeah,
decisions like that because you're not mature enough to do so.
yeah.
So I'm
So
not
that's
I'm not I'm not entirely disagreeing with him. I think he's right with the age thing.
yeah. So okay. So, like, do you think there's miseducation when it comes to like the LGBTQ plus community?
Oh yes, a lot of miseducation, misunderstanding, a lack of education thereof. Because
Yeah,
we can say miseducation is an education given wrong, but I actually
yeah,
think that people are not being educated generally about the LGBTI society. Yes, in today's media, there's more and more queer characters in movies, in books. You see more queer people in general, queer celebrities, so on and so forth. So the
yes,
existence of LGBTI people is there, but in many instances, understanding what being LGBTI is and how it works is something that is not often discussed as often as it should. And usually, in context that the way it is discussed, it is done so in a not so right way, especially if you're gonna talk about it in a place like a church or a when you go to the mount. Okay, no, let me not tap into that. But when if you're in a traditional space where gender roles are being taught, let me put it like that to be safe,
yes,
before I get
yeah,
attacked. Yeah, if you're in a traditional space where gender roles are being taught, or you're in a religious space, or any other kind of space that is not very open minded to, or that is very strict with when it comes to male and female gender roles, then in spaces like that, one cannot be taught adequately about being queer, you know?
yes, yes,
So the challenge there is then that if you are a member of the LGBT society yourself, it becomes a challenge because what you're being taught and what you're being raised to know and the way you feel and the way you see things, it does not correspond and becomes
yes,
a identification crisis to say that, okay, as a young person, let me make myself an example. I grew up in a very religious background, and in my religious
yeah,
background, all I knew that a man should grow up and marry a woman and have
yeah,
kids. Put in my background, you could even marry more than one woman if you wish.
yeah,
But then,
polygamy, yeah,
yes, but I grew up and like I didn't find women attractive at all.
yeah,
I only found men attractive. So it,
yeah,
it, it became a very confusing thing to say that, okay, how am I supposed to marry people that I don't find attractive? But in the same sense, why do I feel the way I feel? Because it's wrong. I'm supposed to like women. Because I had a
yeah,
lack of knowledge about homosexuality until I eventually learned about homosexuality and figured out that, okay, um, it's okay to be attracted to other men while you're a man, and it's a
yeah,
thing, and it's not
okay,
a mental sickness or some people would say an evil spirit or whatever. I don't believe that. I
yeah,
think it's really okay because when it comes to the evil spirit argument, I think a lot of people who grew up in church full time and like have a very great belief in God and if it was an evil spirit, I think it would have been expelled ages ago. I don't think God would have failed to get over an evil spirit for years and years on end. So the fact that it doesn't disappear says a lot about it being okay. That is my view of things. But yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So I think there is a lot of misguidance, a lot of uh, information that is not being spread. That is why
yeah,
people have the views that they have. That is why homophobia exists, amongst
yeah,
other reasons, of course. But yeah,
yeah.
I agree with you when you say there's not enough education.
Yeah, so like as someone who's part of a political party that's open to the conversation about LGBTQ plus
Mm,
community.
mm,
Like, what measures are you taking as a party to make sure that people are educated? And,
yeah. So our our goal as the ANC Women's League LGBTI desk is number one to guide and to inform or to bring about awareness regarding issues that have to do with queer people. That is one of our main goals. But
yeah,
of course, our other goals are to make sure that queer, as I've mentioned before, that queer people find expression in political, business, and business spaces, so on and so forth. But our main
yeah,
goal is to inform and guide. So what we do, we usually have programs where people will come and we'll talk about queer related issues in those programs. We usually have like we organize marches and
yeah.
other things that have to do with awareness, like posters. We have podcasts like this one. We have yeah, we have a lot of things that we do to make sure that
Oh, okay.
people are aware. Yeah. So that's what we do. We also help people with identifying themselves, because some
Yeah,
people don't know what's going on with themselves. Like some people, he can see that he probably has a penis and whatever, or male genitals, but then the person does not see themselves as a male, and they don't
yeah,
understand what that is. They do not know much about transgenderism. So our role is to inform them about who they are and to validate their feelings. So yeah,
yes,
those are the few things that we do. That is our work. Yeah.
yeah. No, okay. So,
Yeah, we also fight a lot for like people who've been abused in homophobic instances. Like if someone probably went to they were a victim of hate crime, would always go to court and show that person support and
yeah,
solidarity. And there are other queer movements that would even provide a lawyer for you if you don't have one, if you're facing things like these. So yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that's what we
So,
do.
okay. So, do you think we need maybe more platforms in like settings like people who go in Dabeni, people who go to a similar church that like the church that you go to, you understand? Because
Mm,
we don't have like open discussions about these kind of
mm,
things. Like, do you think
mm.
it's important for platforms like those to
Yeah,
engage, like to
yeah.
start a conversation to say, okay, we are not doing this, but we are open to having a conversation and like
Mm,
see if we can, you understand? Like,
mm.
do you think, like, what do you think has to be done for those conversations to be started?
So this is a very sensitive thing, especially when it comes to traditional and religious organizations,
Yeah,
because most of them are not really open to change or open to things that are different than the doctrines that they already have in place. You know,
yeah,
so if we in an organization we believe that this is how God works and this is how God is, it's not very easy for someone outside the organization to come and tell us, or sometimes even someone who is in the organization to come and tell
yeah,
us that no, but God doesn't work like that. Why don't we try looking at God from this perspective? Yeah, well, same
yeah,
goes with the traditional and cultural side of things. Um, in our traditional and cultural homes, we believe in continuity, or we believe in preserving a certain way of doing things. They don't really believe much in modernization.
yes,
So it's very difficult for you to then come up with an idea that brings about so much change to the system.
yeah,
So as an organization, we can only do a bit much, but we can't it's not very easy for us to just go to settings like that and try and convince people otherwise, because their minds are set on a certain way of life.
yeah,
So yeah, it's not easy. I think if you're to remember, there was once a movie called In My Ba, right?
yeah, yeah,
I don't know if you remember that movie. So with that movie, what the idea that was introduced is that homosexuality exists even in very masculine, traditional uh, settings like the
yeah,
mountain, you know?
yeah,
And it got so much backlash. It got so much backlash. It got so much, like people really, really hated the movie.
yeah,
So imagine then if you were to actually physically go to a place like that and talk about homosexuality, that would be taboo. And the funny thing is that you'd find that in places like that, like in religious and cultural organizations or settings like that, you'd find that there are actually quite a number of queer people or even queer
yeah,
leaders that exist there. but
Yeah.
they cannot express themselves because of the kind of um setting that they're in. And you might even find that they themselves, those queer leaders or queer members, they say a lot of homophobic things, or they would act homophobic in some way, simply because they're trying to push a narrative, you know, and
Yeah.
hide their true identity. So it's,
Mm.
yeah, so it's not very easy for you then to come and just try to open a discussion like that in a setting like that. It's I'm not saying it's impossible, but I'm saying it's very, it would be a job and a half. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do believe
So
that one day
yeah,
us, yeah. In closing,
yeah,
sorry, I do believe that
yeah,
one day as a society we'll reach a point where we are more open regarding issues like this. Especially I see with the upcoming generation, young
yeah,
people are more open-minded when it comes to issues of homosexuality, even young people from religious and traditional backgrounds. So I think
yeah.
as time goes with the next generation, it might get easier and better. So yes, yeah.
Yes. So
Hmm.
do you think maybe do you think the government is doing enough though, as
Of
far
course not.
as yeah, like cause I'm asking because I see that, and I think if the government, if the government was putting enough information in
Mm,
platforms that, like in platforms like your traditional or religious places where this is not being spoken about, to bring enlightenment, to say, guys, I think this you need to look like, say similar to what the AIDS, what's the AIDS awareness campaign, such campaigns where
mm,
like, the government was going into like places like
mm,
like churches, religious places, to give
mm,
awareness, to say like this does exist, and like you can only educate yourself by, by opening to it, to say like this exists, AIDS exists, and these are the measures you need to take to make sure you don't get it. You understand? I think even in hospitals, we also like
yeah.
this. There needs to be more education, to say when you be in the hospital, you get educated,
Mm,
awareness campaigns in
mm,
hospitals. I think that's the only
yeah.
way people would start taking that seriously. And I think
Mm,
and this is also what I think. I think, oh shit, I forgot what I wanted to say, but it was,
yeah. But
I
I hear where
forgot.
you were going.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I forgot what I wanted to say. But in
Yeah.
closing, though, I would like to thank you for opening up to us and, talk about
Yeah.
this thing. Yeah, I'd really like for you to go and watch that dog by Matt Walsh. It's on Twitter. I think it was there for 24 hours. But after I saw the Elon Musk tweet, so I think
Yeah.
now it will be there for long.
No,
They,
but I can really
they,
look
they
it up.
did
You should
it and
you should
accept
give me
it.
the details on WhatsApp, and then I'll look it up today. It sounds very very interesting. I'm surprised that
Yeah,
I haven't heard of it till now. Actually, I'm
yeah,
shocked because I'm always like awoke about these these things.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure. Yeah.
It's a very interesting documentary for
Mm,
anyone to watch, and for anyone that wants to learn. You understand? Because now it's not even about like the one-sided perspective. There's also like opinions from from different, like there's people like who come with different perspectives. There's people who are trans. There's people, you understand. There's a whole lot
mm,
of. It's not just him just pushing his narrative. It's not biased, and it also gives people. It's not provoking. In a nutshell, it's not provoking, and it's really important for people. Like for people who don't know what this is, I think that is a good watch. I think that's a good place to start in that. You understand?
mm,
Because
mm,
the question that guy is asking, those questions are some of the questions that a lot of people have, but are afraid to ask because they're afraid of
mm,
being homophobic. But sometimes I think some people just want to understand, and like we all need to
mm.
be open. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
There's, yeah, to be be open and enlighten with some of these things that are new to us. So yeah,
Yes.
I think I'll send you the link for you to go look at that. Interesting watch. So yeah, see, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Life outside of books, outside of singing, outside of
Seriously.
painting,
Yeah.
politics.
Yeah.
Rest, the rest life is crazy, dog. I've
It's
been in your
amazing.
place. I've been in your place and I've seen some wild shit. And I know, like that's like the tip of the iceberg. You know,
Yeah.
I've heard some crazy stories, and I was like, yo, like do people do your parents even know children are this wild like at uni? You understand?
Yeah.
Like
You know,
yeah,
no, yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, Rez, I think I've always felt like going through Rez life is a stage that one should go through because of the amount of fun and experience you gain. Most people here, I think, I don't know if it's because they maybe in varsity and maybe it makes you more open minded or something like that. But
yeah,
they live a very open and care. By careless, I mean they don't really value or they don't care about other people's opinions that much. You know, just
yeah,
wear whatever you want. You
and
do
that's very
whatever they
important.
want. Yeah, yeah.
It's very important.
I mean, living your life is very important
Yeah. And do
because
you think yeah,
people will talk regardless. One thing about people, whether you do good or bad, people will talk about you. So I think doing whatever you want is a great thing to do for yourself, Poof.
yeah.
Yeah.
Cause it's crazy, dog. Like it's crazy. Like for like like in clubs, you'll find a lot of like places around Josie. Like it's mostly like
Yes.
uni students and college
Yeah.
students. And do you think, or like that is them going out to balance the work that they put into their
Mm,
study? I need a break. Then they go to
yeah.
class and do all that. Do you think that's the case?
Yeah, I think it is a matter of taking a break, taking a breather. Also, it's just entertainment. Some use it as a distraction, you know.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, it's just you're in varsity, your parents are not here. You can go in and out as much as you want. Why don't you grab the opportunity and do whatever the hell you want, you know? So,
yeah,
and you know, people are not the same. There are actually people who live a very reserved life in
yeah,
university. You know,
yeah,
people who are just in their rooms, people who just go to church, people who don't take part in drinking or sexual activities. Then
yeah,
there are more people who are more open to trying things out, you know, more outgoing,
yeah,
more explorative, you know. So yeah, you
yeah,
find different kinds of people, and I am the latter. So that is why when you visit me, you'd usually be more exposed to the more outgoing and more
yeah,
explorative people because that's how I am. So that's the kind
yeah.
of people I'd usually associate myself with
So,
because we sort of yeah we have common interests. But
yeah,
yeah, it's very very fun. I've had a great time here, and I think I'm not gonna come back to school next year. So it's very sad to think that I have like 6 months left of
yeah,
Ray's life. So I'm gonna miss it a lot. But yeah, it's great. It's crazy. It's wild. The stories I'm gonna leave here with are just crazy, crazy, crazy. So
yeah,
much has been done. Yeah, a lot has been
yeah,
done. Yeah, I can't even
yeah.
start to imagine.
Yo,
I
yeah, but
never even imagined when I left home that this is the kind of experiences I'd get here. You know.
yeah,
So yeah,
you're exposed to a lot of things there. You're
we
exposed
are.
to,
Mm, we
exposed
are.
to
Yeah.
the life from Jolo, the life
Yes.
party, the life of you understand, being exposed to the
Promiscuity.
you understand. So there's
Yeah.
but do you think Gucci like I think guys you're doing too much. You're doing too
What
much.
is too much though? Like, what is too much?
Yeah, oh, that's a good question. I think it's too much for me. For me, let me say that it's too much to see. Like, you know what hurts me?
Mm,
What hurts me the most is what it's to see some of like the some of the young ladies they're like dating some of like their fathers, bro. They are they're like the Chalof gang. They are
older
messing it.
man.
Yeah, like yeah, most like Nigerian men, Chalof gang.
Yes, yes.
So I see that, like I see that trend. There's a whole lot of trend, and I've spoken to people from Headfield. Same thing in Bram Headfield. Same thing. You understand? And
Yeah.
even it's not a pleasant experience for people who genuinely want to start a relationship with one of the people that are in that entanglement with like one of the Nigerian dudes. It's not because like
Mm,
the Nigerian dudes have a lot to offer. Those guys have money. Those guys are money.
mm,
Like for you to want to be in a relationship with someone who's involved with that person, dog, you have to be doing wonders in the world, dog. And like you can't like you can't because now you're a student. You're a
mm,
student. Those guys come with golf sevens and like you understand. And for me, I'm like, oh, okay. So some of these guys that are not getting these chicks in varsity, they go out to be like the greatest chartered accountant, and because now they're in their prime, their 30s, they start to do the same thing that those Janov dudes were doing with women. Understand? Because now he's a
mm.
qualified chartered accountant. He's then Bram coming up with that. You know, new the girl is buying the latest iPhones. You know? It's like
Yeah.
guys, like this culture, like Mina for Mina, it's not working for me. You understand? Because it's too much
Yes.
pressure. Because it, even ladies say like they want to be courted and all of that. You understand?
Mm,
And but bro, like that's too much pressure for the guy who who wants to court you because like looking at your hit list, bro, like it's crazy. You understand?
yeah.
It's crazy. It's like yes, you want to be courted, but like if you've been involved with some of the people who were giving you like 10, 18K, 20K a month, there's no way that like me being your peer, like I'm going to give you that. Understand? And
Mm,
and being exposed to that, it's hard to go back to no university life. Like it's hard for some people. You understand?
mm,
See a lot of people like cool chicks. They leave the hood, they get there, they become slave queens, and now you can't date a dude from Ekasi because now you have standards. He has to
mm,
drive. What are you driving? You understand? And for
mm.
me now, this thing, it's nice, yes, but then, hey, they've taken it too far, you know? Because now people who who are not as successful who are not as successful or who don't really have that financial stability, they don't qualify because
Mm,
now the standard has been set so high by all those people that it's almost like it's culture now that my boyfriend has to indoor tamas. Do you understand?
mm,
It's like, hey, guys, let's relax. Understand? Let's relax. That's the only thing I feel with some of the guys who don't have the bag, they suffer from. And the moment they get the bag, they do the same shit. Understand?
yes.
And I'm like, yeah, that's the only messed up part I think. Besides getting like pregnant and stuff, when your parents thought that you were studying, imagine you coming back. You understand? But it's good. It's good to see with like some of the people who I know who were exposed to such a life.
Mm,
They're like because you're exposed to a life, you know how to handle some of the things that happen. You understand? As far as how to deal with like relationship, because this one is what works. This is what doesn't work in a relationship because you've had like that experience being engaged, like being in relationship with like different hands from like
yeah.
uni. You understand? Like you do know with this doesn't work. This works. This doesn't work. And as far as financial literacy as well, it's important because I wanna that nefsa's money. That nefsa's money. You learn a
It's
lot when we
it's
talk.
nothing though.
You
Is
understand?
it?
I'm saying, Gucci, you learn to balance yourself, to balance your life.
Oh yes.
You
Okay.
understand?
Yeah.
So you know, the moment you have a lot, so you know how to balance a lot because you've been like handling so little. You understand? So I'm like,
Mm,
it is you. Whenever you have a lot of money, you know how to handle that because you've had le mali ncane ye-NSFAS, you understand?
mm.
Yeah, so like it's nice because I see and I'm like, yo, ayi, ziyabuya, yi.
Ziyabuya.
Yeah, like yo,
But
ziyabuya.
my chat is,
Yeah,
there's a lot of stigmatization that
around.
comes with people around women or young girls who are dating older, richer men,
Okay,
especially West African men. But my
yeah,
chat is, as I've said before,
yeah,
we shouldn't judge each other. Like, people should do whatever they feel like doing. But
yeah,
I think your concern specifically comes from a sense of you being a young male, you know,
yeah,
who is not a millionaire as yet. And then
yeah,
you sort of feel maybe a sense of pressure coming from those older rich men, especially since they're dating your peers, the same peers that maybe you want to date, you know? I think
yeah.
as a young person, as a young man generally, I think that's how one would feel. But my chat is those girls or those women who are partaking in this culture, they don't care much for for those young men who are not really rich or any, they don't care if you're feeling
Yeah,
pressure or not. I think money buys a better life generally. Yeah, one,
true,
like,
true.
yeah, it buys better girls, it buys better food, it buys better everything. But
It
now,
buys taste, dog. It buys taste, dog.
yeah, exactly.
Mm,
So not
mm,
having money comes with a number of disadvantages, and that would be not being able to date a hot girl who prefers dating richer men.
yeah,
And it's just the unfairness of life. But I think one should take that as an inspiration, then, to
yeah,
put it in a positive aspect, to say that, okay, if I want to live that life that Nigerian person lives, of course, maybe some of them make money illegally, which is not something um I
promote or
would
connect.
promote. But uh I think that one should then try to make something of themselves. Not as easy as it sounds, of course,
Yeah,
but try to grow yourself financially. Try to find a number of platforms where you can make money so that you can be at the level that you see those people are in. You see, because those girls love money as much as you do. And in the same breath, I think if you were a girl and you had the opportunity to be rich and not really work hard for it, chances are you'd have gone for it, you know? Yes, there are a
no,
lot of girls who
you
don't
know,
who don't
yeah,
live that life. A lot, man.
yeah,
And there are a lot of girls who rather prefer just dating the boyfriend who gets the same 1.5 that they get from NASFA, so that boyfriend who works at Pick and Pay or whatever. But
yeah,
there are a lot of girls who actually prefer the richer boyfriend. So I think it's just a matter of preference. And I think that as a society, we should shy away from stigmatizing women who date richer men.
mm,
I think, yeah, that's just a social ill that we have.
yeah. You know what I think?
Yeah,
Because I also have a lot to say.
yeah,
I also have a lot to say as far as like I do think Iguti, like me, like I want you to get something straight
yeah.
before saying, like me now, I'm not feeling any pressure because you know
Okay,
why.
yeah, sure.
I think I know Iguti, like the person that I want in life. She also doesn't want me because she's focusing
Mm,
on herself, on building, on achieving. The same way as
mm,
because I don't date, understand? And there's a
yeah,
time where I'm open to dating, understand?
yeah.
So the person that is my person, I think he's also like in the same mindset that I have to say like I'm pushing, like I'm not focused on that. I'm focused on winning. And when
Mm,
time like we'll meet with that person and we'll make things happen. That's why like I feel Uguti like there's also that 1% of women who know Uguti like nah like I won't chase and like I'll have nice time, I won't date and wada. And you
mm,
understand there's still that. And again I still say Uguti, I still have a lot to say around that. But I think
mm.
if you're fine with it, I think maybe we need to have a panel discussion. Maybe have like some
Yes,
ladies, some guys, and just like have a
very
conversation.
interesting. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think maybe if we can have that,
definitely.
even maybe like let's see if we can make that happen. And you know
Mm,
what I'm thinking as we were speaking, Sia, I was thinking Uguti, as someone who's like, when you are informed, doc, as far as like what's happening on the socials, who's doing what, I was thinking, Uguti, how about we have a segment, you and I, Monday, you give us the
yeah,
lowdown of what's happening, like as far as social media trends, you understand?
sure. Yeah, we can do
Like, I'll
that.
have that for like 15 minutes, run it down, break it down, get people's
Yeah,
perspective going on every Monday, you understand?
yeah, that would be really fun. I think we could really do that. And
Yeah.
just inform people. Yeah, sure. Devs.
Yeah, okay. Okay,
I'm
like
down for it.
okay, so starting, I think maybe because now we're releasing this first episode, so people who are listening to this, they'll catch the second episode next week, Monday, between you and I.
Mm,
We'll be wrapping it up, talking about some of these things. I want
yeah.
that are happening in the socials, and even you see, like certain things like that, we couldn't touch on it because now we were focused on you and the things that you're doing. So some people who are
Yeah.
listening, who are staying in Limpopo, didn't know about the earthquake, and you didn't know, you didn't experience it.
Nope. I was
Because
too.
the
I was.
life, you will.
Yeah. No. I was. I was definitely not sober enough
Yeah.
to put it plainly.
Well, so we need to, like, I feel like we need to have that, understand that, talk about that.
Mm.
About that. So, what are your socials? Please drop your socials for
Oh
people who
yeah.
want to follow
Sure.
you.
So on Instagram, I am at Sias Makanda. So it's spelled CYAHZ.MCANDER. Yeah. And then
Okay.
on Facebook, I'm just Siyabonga Dlangalala. I'm not very big on Twitter, so I don't know my handle by head. Let me just check it out quickly. Oh yeah, it's Sias17, so it's at CYHZ17. Yeah.
No, okay, no.
Yeah.
TikTok, are you not on TikTok?
Oh, I am. Actually, I forgot about that. What's my handle on TikTok? Let me check it out.
Okay.
Ah, it disappeared yet again. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I also, so yeah,
Okay,
we
yeah,
were
but I was
for the
saying that on
handle.
TikTok, it's just at CYAHZ. It's yes, yeah, and that's it.
No, okay. So yeah, people like you can like go to see if you want to him to touch on some of the things that you have in mind or the
Mm,
trends you think Sia should touch on Monday, and he'll
mm,
break them down for us, and we'll talk about it on every Monday's episode. The episodes that we're having every Monday with Sia.
mm.
The gossip hour, we'll call it. The gossip
Definitely.
hour, yeah, the gossip hour with Sia Langalala.
Yes, that's gonna be very interesting. I actually can't wait.
Yeah, so we'll have that, and I'll try and see if I can get ladies for maybe the panel discussion.
Yes, I think we should get both ladies and guys. It would be a very interesting thing to touch on.
Yeah, so we'll chop it up. We'll see. That one, if I can get ladies, but I'll keep everyone updated. So my socials are Lesego underscore MH everywhere. Lesego underscore MH everywhere. Lesego underscore MH everywhere. Just go out there and follow me, guys. And please share this episode with everyone, brother, your sister, your mother, your father, and leave a comment on some of the things you need us to touch on, or you feel like you need Sia to touch on, or you have a question has to do anything varsity and you think Sia might answer that, or you need res, Sia can help with that as well. So thank you for listening to this wonderful episode. I really enjoyed it to crush it with Sia.
Mm.
Thank you, Sia, man. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. Thank you so much for inviting me. I feel
Yeah,
very honored to have been invited to come and talk on this platform. Yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. I actually had a great time. It was
yeah.
very thought provoking.
Yeah, true. So let's meet.
Mm.
Let's meet. And I think the first thing we need to touch on when we meet on Monday, it's that Matt Walsh talk.
Oh yes, I actually have to
Yeah.
look into it. Yeah,
Then
definitely.
we'll have a discussion around it. Thank you all.
Mm.
Have a
Thank you
great
so much.
blessed one.
Enjoy your day as well. Thank you very, very much.
Cheers.
Cheers.